Hi, folks. Here's a riddle for you. What's the difference between watching Jurassic Park and saving a life? The answer, there's no difference. Nothing. I mean, what does it cost? You go to see a movie nowadays, you can spend 30, 40 bucks easily on babysitter, parking, popcorn, 60 bucks if you like popcorn the way I do. We here at World Vision are going to tell you how for $27 a month you can save a child's life, make a difference, establish a one-on-one rapport, essentially add them to your family, and feel a whole lot better about the world you're living in.
World Vision Canada presents Canada's Day to Care for the Children. With Jan Tennant, Alex Trebek, Louis-José Mondu, John Tesh and Connie Selica, and special music by Connie Scott. And now your hosts, Catherine Swing and Wayne Cox, with special guest Alan Thicke.
Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
I know we're going out to all of Canada. I just spoke to my grandmother, Izzy Greer, up in Kirkland Lake, Ontario. Izzy's been sponsoring me all these years.
And she's a proud grandma.
Yeah, we love you, Izzy. Get all your friends to pick up the phone today.
Well, welcome to Grandma, and welcome to all of you who are watching and joined us today. Today, you know, it's a special day because you can do something to change the life of a needy child whose short life has been marred by poverty and suffering.
Yes, you can sponsor a little girl or a little boy with a commitment of $27 a month through World Vision Canada, a Christian humanitarian relief and development organization which has been reaching out in love to the poorest of the poor for over 40 years.
And we came into the studio today to find sponsors for 2,300 destitute children. And you can see their pictures all around us here. You see on the walls, there are the picture folders, and they have blue ribbons on some of them. Now, these children have found a sponsor today. Look at the little faces of the ones who haven't been rescued yet. So we're here to encourage you to call us right now and offer new hope to one of these children. I mean, $27 a month isn't too big a sacrifice for most of us, yet it can bring life and hope and a whole new world to a child in a poor country.
Well, folks, we are on our way, but we're not there yet. Will you be the one who cares today? Make yours the next call. We'll check our total in just a few moments. Call us now and help make the difference.
It's because we all care so much about this children that we're here today. I mean, Wayne does, I do, Alan does. In fact, Alan, I know you sponsor a child yourself.
Yes, I do.
What do you see? What's the difference sponsorship makes in your child's life?
Well, in his case, it helps his education. And, you know, when you first sponsor a child, you get a report that tells you what his status in life is, including his medical status.
Right.
And his health condition was listed as fair. And it's very rewarding to see from month to month, year to year, his condition get upgraded from fair to good to terrific, and to know that he's getting passing grades in school and that he'll have a life in the future.
And that's the kind of thing that you can be a part of doing in a child's life as well, just as Alan says.
How are we doing?
Well, you know, our goal today is to find sponsors for 2,300 children. We've been at it for a little while, so let's see how many kids we have found sponsors for. 1,304. All right, that's more than halfway there, but we have 1 hour to reach our goal. So please, call one of the numbers on your screen right now and come with us to Haiti and meet a precious little girl.
I am here in Cité Soleil, one of the worst areas in Haiti's capital city, Port-au-Prince. More than 200,000 people are crowded into this terrible slum. Everywhere I look, I see garbage in the streets, in the canals, and the stench, it's almost unbearable. Yet thousands upon thousands of children live here.
8-year-old Léa Eugène is one of these. Léa's mother, Wilfried, is a merchant in the marketplace here at Cité Soleil, as are most of the other residents of the community. She has a small stand where she sells household items, hoping to earn enough money to buy food for Léa and for other children. Abandoned by her unemployed husband, she is her family's sole support. Léa doesn't go to school because her mother can't afford the tuition. Instead, she helps her mother in the marketplace. Léa helps out at home too. She sweeps, straightens, and carries water. And she's the cook whenever the family has something to cook, but that isn't very often. Most of the time, Léa gets through the day on a bowl of cornmeal mush and perhaps a banana.
Léa's mother worries about her daughter. She suffers from asthma, and sometimes the attacks are so severe they literally leave her gasping for breath.
As you can plainly see, life is very hard for little Léa Eugène and the other children who live in Cité Soleil. I look around at these bright-eyed, innocent children, and I am almost overcome by a feeling of hopelessness. But then I realize that there is hope, even here, thanks to child sponsorship. People like you who have chosen to sponsor a child are helping to provide food, health care, education, and shelter for children who would otherwise go without. Sponsorship makes possible a low-interest loan program helping women like Léa's mother establish or expand their small businesses.
You know, if Léa had a sponsor, she would be in school right now. She would also be receiving proper health care. And even though there are over 3,000 children here in Cité Soleil who are sponsored, there are thousands more, like Léa, who aren't.
It breaks my heart, but the sad truth is there are simply not enough sponsors to go around. And so little girls like Léa Eugène go without many of the things they need. But you can help to change that. If you could see this place in person, I know you'd want to do all you can to help.
Please sponsor a child through World Vision Canada. You'll be giving a child like Léa the things she needs right away, and also you'll be giving her a future full of hope. Change a child's life. Be a sponsor today.
Well, you know, Catherine, watching something like that really is sobering. I mean, here in Canada, we think maybe we're having it pretty tough right now. You know, we keep talking about recession and things like that. But when you compare living conditions in our Canadian cities with conditions in the slums of Port-au-Prince, well, we've got it pretty good right here.
Oh, not only that, Wayne, but when we realize that all it takes is $27 a month to help children like Léa, it's less than a loonie a day. It's so little to us. It's a cup of coffee on the way to work, but it's so much to these children.
Yes, and World Vision Canada works hard to keep its overhead costs as low as possible so that 80 cents in each dollar goes into activities and programs to help the world's poorest children. That's important to know in times like this. Now, most of us have to work with a tighter budget these days. In fact, when you sponsor a child, you'll receive a brochure which explains exactly how each dollar is spent.
Overseas, World Vision Canada works with UNICEF, the World Health Organization, and hundreds of local community non-government organizations. The Government of Canada supports World Vision's work on 3 continents through CIDA, the Canadian International Development Agency. From what I've seen in Ecuador, Bangladesh, Bolivia, and Ethiopia, I have no hesitation in saying to you to go to that phone right now and sponsor a child for $27 a month. Here's a couple now who know the joy of helping others.
I think we all have an obligation to help other people out. We help our next-door neighbors out. We help people at work. And I think we should also help out people overseas as well. The little boy that we sponsor, he lives in Bolivia. His name is Eber. He's 2.5 and he'll be 3 February the 6th. And we've been sponsoring him for just over a year now.
I think we all have a responsibility. We're all God's children. $27 is very little to, you know, it's very little to us. It's not very little, but it's little to us, but it means so much to the children overseas.
Recently, a World Vision TV crew traveled to Ibar's village in Bolivia. And now, Melinda and Paul have a chance to see that footage.
There's Ibar.
Ah, yeah. Oh, he's so cute. Aww.
It's big, eh?
I can't believe how big he is. It looks good and healthy, too.
I care about Eber the same way I care about my son. To me, he is our child as well. I want to see him get the education that he deserves, the medical attention that he deserves, and the proper water and food that he deserves.
I think we all need that. I think we all deserve that, and no one should be deprived of that. And I think actually helping kids out in World Vision and helping kids that are overseas helps them grow as an individual, which they need. Everyone deserves that, and everyone should get that.
Well, that says it all, doesn't it? Don't miss out on the wonderful feeling that comes when you help to rescue a child. All you have to do is pick up the phone, dial the number on the screen, and tell the operator, yes, I will commit myself to $27 a month to sponsor a child in need. So please, We're in the home stretch right now. Call us right now. You'll change a child's life forever.
When you get through to an operator, you can say if you'd rather sponsor a boy or a girl, and if there's a particular country you'd prefer. And then you can arrange for your gift to be made any way that's convenient for you, be it Visa, MasterCard, monthly checks, automatic debits from the bank. It's up to you. We'll do our best to select a child that matches your request, and we'll pin a blue ribbon on his or her folder.
When you enter into a partnership with World Vision Canada, you'll be helping a little boy or a little girl in the very best way possible. Now, here's how it works. Each month, your gifts are combined with those of other sponsors to provide things like irrigation systems and better farming methods so your sponsored child can have enough to eat. Wells to provide clean drinking water, clinics and schools so that he or she can grow up to be strong and healthy, both physically and mentally. What Catherine and I are saying is that sponsorship really works. And if it didn't, there wouldn't be so many happy sponsors. And there wouldn't be so many children whose lives have been changed forever. But don't just take it from us. No, I want you to meet a young man from Kenya called Zachariah. He'll speak for himself.
Zachariah Makinga has a remarkable story to tell. It began when he was only a small boy living here in Nairobi in a slum called Mathare Valley.
This is the place that I used to live those many years ago. It makes me sad, in fact, very sad. The conditions, as you can see, are not very good for human living.
When Zachariah was only 2.5 years old, his mother died. His father died when he was 9, and so Zach was left to fend for himself in a world where poverty and violence became a way of life. This was no place for a little boy to grow up alone.
Most of the young people, they carry knives at night. They fight around, they mug people in the streets. Most of them are drug addicts, prostitutes. People have given up on life.
Zach's life fell apart. He didn't go to school on a regular basis. He didn't have a decent place to sleep at night. He didn't even have shoes to wear. Things got so bad that he had to steal food in order to eat.
My life began to change when somebody sponsored me. They sponsored me to go to school. They bought me uniform. Maybe I don't have money for food, they buy me food, books. Now I'm a student at Kenyatta University, and I'm taking education music in that place, and I'm hoping to become a teacher in 3 years' time. Sponsoring a child is like you're blessing somebody. God is using you as an instrument to save a life, to better a life somewhere. It's a blessing for you and for the child and for the whole society. I'm a living proof of that. Somebody sponsored me, and here I am.
There he is, living proof, if you ever needed it, that sponsorship really works. That's the kind of proof I look for, and that's why Canada's on the phone right now across the country. From Newfoundland to British Columbia, caring Canadians are calling. And you know what you're saying? You're saying, count me in. I want to sponsor a child. Now let's take stock of where we are for a moment. It is time to go to our tote board, and let's see what's happening. Our goal, 2,300 children. How are we doing? 1,433 sponsors. Oh, my. Congratulations, Canada. We're almost there. Time right now to go over to World Vision's Vice President of International and Government Programs, Linda Tripp. She is on the line again with a caller. Linda?
Wayne, I'm talking to Mrs. Charmaine Fortune from St. Adele, Quebec. Mrs. Fortune, I understand you've really gone the extra mile today, and you've asked for 3 children from Africa. Could you tell us why?
Well, it's because I have 3 healthy children, and all the credit goes to these children because they've decided to give up their allowances to each sponsor a child.
Oh, that is fantastic. So each one of your children is sponsoring one of these children with their allowance.
Yes.
Well, would you pass on to them? Just thank you so much, and God bless. You've made a wonderful decision today. Thank you, Mrs. Fortune.
Oh, Linda, thank you very much. We need to hear from you right now. Time, as usual, is our enemy. We are running out of time. We must hear from you right now. Sponsor a child with your commitment of $27 a month. We want to put a ribbon in your name on one of these picture folders. Right after this program, we'll rush the folder off to you with a brief biography of your sponsored child, and later, we'll also be sending you an annual report on how your child's getting along. Some child whose picture is here on these walls needs you to call. Please don't disappoint them. Call us right now. Now it's on to Cambodia, a country that's desperately trying to hang on to a rather uneasy peace, and a little child called Pitu.
After 20 years of war and civil unrest, peace has finally come to the killing fields of Cambodia. As soldiers begin the tedious and dangerous job of removing landmines, the people of Cambodia begin the equally difficult job of putting their lives back together.
There are changes here in Cambodia, changes you can't see at first glance. In a place where death has been a way of life, there is new hope for the future.
Nowhere do you see that hope more vividly than in the faces of the children. Children who stream from the cities and villages of Cambodia to this place, the National Pediatric Hospital, supported by World Vision.
Oh, you are warm. You are hot and warm.
Dr. Milton Amayan has spent years working with the Cambodian people. In every corner of the hospital, he showed me children fighting for their lives.
This baby came in just within the last hour, close to cardiac arrest. And these little sounds that you're hearing, he's fighting for his life.
The child's name is Pitu. At first, Pitu's mother didn't realize how sick her son was. Now, all she can do is pray. Pitu has meningitis that has gotten so bad that now he's developed blood poisoning.
I'm sad to say that he will probably not make it to the end of today. We will keep trying, and we'll have hope while this baby is breathing.
For Pitu, every breath is a struggle, but as you can see, he's not giving up. He's receiving blood transfusions, antibiotics, anything that can help him live.
Wow, this is an improvement.
Pitu is responding, a sign he is coming out of the coma, and his pulse is stronger. Let me tell you, the grip he has on my finger tells me this is one determined little boy.
The doctors didn't think that he would live longer than an hour. Well, that was at about 11:30, and it's now 10 minutes of 5. And he's doing much better. And now it's just a matter of seeing if he's going to make it through the night.
It's now 8 hours later, and we're back at the hospital.
Look at you.
Now he's trying to communicate with you.
Seeing Pitu out of his coma and alert is almost more than we had dared hope for.
When I came and I saw he was still there and he looked so much better, I literally was jumping with joy. Yes, you agree with me.
But no one is happier than Pitu's mother. All of us are excited by the improvement Pitu is showing. But because he was so sick for so long, we know his future is still very uncertain. It is now early the next morning, and our worst fears have come true. The infection that has lived in Pitu's body for who knows how long is making his kidneys shut down.
We gave this baby what is available to us to treat him. There are things that in other countries we would have been able to do more.
We are keeping watch tonight at Pitu's bedside as he continues to fight for his life. But it's becoming apparent with the passing of each hour that he is losing the battle.
Father, please receive Pitu's soul into your kingdom.
A few minutes after this picture was taken, P2 died, with his mother by his side.
I don't think you have to be a parent for that story to break your heart. It is a heartbreaking story of P2 so little, just starting his life.
And the fact is, if he'd have been in Canada, that little baby would probably be alive today, even though we've seen a reduction in some of our health services over the past few months. Canadian children don't die from diseases that we can cure, the lack of medical attention.
Well, we thank God for that. But child deaths like we just saw are an everyday occurrence in Cambodia because families in rural areas simply don't have access to basic health care. It may take them days to travel to the only children's hospital in the country. And by that time, it's too late. One of the things that's helping is the development of rural clinics like this one run by World Vision. If only P2's mother could have come to a place like this when he first got sick, that little baby might be alive today. Here at the clinic, children can be examined the moment something's wrong, and if it's serious, then they can be sent to the pediatric hospital. But the key is to have ongoing and dependable health care at the village level. That's how lives are saved. Right now, there's a tremendous need to support the doctors and nurses at the hospital, and at the same time, help set up these life-saving clinics. Your single emergency gift of $25, $50, $100, whatever you'd like to give, will play a life-saving role. Your giving would be a lifeline for hundreds of little children like P2. So please, call now with your gift, and that gift will be eligible for a tax credit. It'll be something we can do to remember that little baby who died so unnecessarily. It's a memorial to P2.
Won't you join us? Call the number that's on the screen right now and sponsor a little child with your commitment of $27 a month. Over 40 countries where World Vision sponsorship is available. Now, one of these countries is Bolivia, and Catherine, I believe you were there recently, and I know that the experience is one that you'll never forget.
Oh, that's for sure, Wayne. So let's go to South America right now. This is the Alto Plano, the high plain of Bolivia. Cold, dry, barren. Almost 14,000 feet high in the Andes Mountains. One of the most difficult places to live on Earth. I was traveling to the village of Vilcapugio with World Vision sponsorship worker Pablo Carrillo. And my first surprise was our welcome. The kindness and warmth of the people were overwhelming. But I soon discovered a bitter irony, because in a few short moments we stepped into the village clinic, where I was told that 60% of the children in Vilcapugio die before their 5th birthday. Oh, there's constant illness. World Vision doctor Edwin Kahasri was examining a 4-year-old named Israel.
This child has sarcoptosis, an infection on his face.
What will happen if this is left untreated?
The disease is a pathology caused by a parasite. This parasite is found in the soil, and it gets in the skin. When small children don't have adequate cleanliness, the infection grows and grows.
What about the baby? Is the baby sick as well?
This little one is running a high fever. If not monitored, it could lead to pneumonia.
Have they lost any children? Dr. Kahasri told me Israel's mother had lost 6 of her children. I had to wonder, why the high number of childhood deaths in this village? And what was the cause of Israel and his sister's illness? I talked with Felix, Israel's father, and he took us to a gravesite. Felix, this is where your 6 children are buried? How did they die?
2 of my children were stillborn. 4 children died of a stomachache. They suffered terrible pain, moaning and crying and uncomfortable. Eventually, they died.
What hope do you have for your children now?
It's hard to think about the future. I worry when these children get sick that I will have to watch them die too.
At home, we seem to have such expectations. We expect to have a healthy child. Yet we come to a village
here and meet a family who are wonderful, loving, giving people who've lost 6 children.
Pablo and I talked about how difficult life is here, and he reminded me of Felix's comments about the severe stomach problems before his children's deaths.
Do you remember what Felix told us? That many of his children had died because of diarrhea and stomachache? Well, here we have the reason.
They drink this water?
Yes.
The people of Vilcapugio come here to get water for washing, cooking, and drinking. It's the only source of water for themselves and their livestock. The water was so filthy and polluted that we put some in a bottle, and later, when we were back in the city, we had it tested.
The bacteria and fungus in this water causes diarrhea, which leads to dehydration. If they don't get prompt treatment, they can easily die.
In Canada, we don't give much thought to water. We turn on the tap, and there it is. It's fresh, it's clean, it's pure. Drink as much as you want. It's not that way here. The people are drinking water that's contaminated, and it's killing them. It's killing their children. The situation's tragic.
Looking at those children in Bolivia suffering from that polluted water, surely there's not a Canadian anywhere who wouldn't want to help them. The question we ask ourselves is how? Are we sure that there's a way that whatever we do isn't just a Band-Aid, a short-term solution? Can we be guaranteed of long-term solutions that we're really helping?
Well, that's the wonderful idea, but what World Vision does in places like Vilcapugio is to go in and work with the community to see what the greatest needs are and how to make the difference a lasting one. I mean, here, to speak to a mother who's lost 6 children is tragic, but to think that the mom didn't even know that drinking the polluted water was killing her babies.
Yeah, have to know the cause of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So education is a part of the cycle that will break the cycle of poverty.
Good.
Yeah.
And Canadians like you really can make this happen if you're calling us right now. You don't have much time left. Make that commitment to sponsorship. I'm going to take you back to the village of
Vilcapugio.
I need help with that. That's in Bolivia. I'm going to take you there right now and see what World Vision is doing about that polluted water supply.
What you see happening here, what we're doing is getting a well built, getting it dug. The folks you see there are digging by hand as far as it takes to get that water happening. Pablo's got a part, I got a part. Put those parts together and you get a pump. Pablo, how's this all coming together? Who's responsible for it?
The community itself with the cooperation of World Vision. When a sponsor Canada decides to help a child here in Vilcapugio, he provides a better conditions for this child, a better condition for his family, and a better condition for the whole community. With the help of this Canadian sponsor, this community is able to install irrigation canals and grow crops and grow vegetables, so it will really create a better life condition.
You're witnessing something so special, but it's just the beginning. But it's the beginning of something that means a future for the people here. It became so evident to us that the most basic need in the village of Vilcapugio was clean, disease-free water. But for families like Israel's, that's been an impossibility for generations. Now, because of World Vision Canada sponsors, that's beginning to change. Being here at Vilcapugio has been wonderful for me. To meet Israel and his family and the other people, they have touched me in a special way. To hear of their sorrows and the tragedies they've lived through, and to see the joy of their spirits. I'll never forget them. But it makes me that much more confident in child sponsorship. When you pair one Canadian up with one child like Israel, this community is going to see a whole difference. It means the difference of the future to a child like Israel. You can be a part of it. We can make it happen together.
Well, Catherine, that was an incredible trip that you had, and it certainly shows how when people come together one by one, they really can, as you say, make it happen.
Oh, absolutely, Wayne. It's so true. World Vision Canada isn't into free handouts. I mean, there is a place for emergency relief for people who can't help themselves, but World Vision is committed to long-term solutions that enable people to help themselves. You've seen how it works in Bolivia. Now it's your turn, so please keep these phones ringing. Call us now. Sponsor a child with your monthly gift of $27. experience the joy of sponsoring a child like Israel.
And remember, when you call, we'll put a ribbon on the picture of the child you sponsor. And then, right after the program today, we're going to rush the picture folder to you with details about the sponsored child. You'll even be able to write each other. It's a terrific way to get your children or your grandchildren involved in sharing. So call right now. Sponsor a child who needs you. You'll be glad you did.
In the last hour, we met Loretta Penny, a young woman from Toronto. In this video, she's on her way to meet her sponsored child in Kenya. It's an experience that few Canadians ever get to have.
Knowing that I'm about to meet this boy that I've sponsored leaves me with feelings that are almost indescribable. We've been corresponding for about the past 10 months, and now to really see that picture in living color is exciting. You have a hug for me? Is it? When you actually step foot on the African soil and you see the conditions around you, and then you go into special World Vision projects.
You're much taller than I thought, but me, I'm not very tall, so that doesn't say very much.
And you see how the money's helped. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I also sponsored another boy while I was here. We have to be able to share some of our wonderful opportunities with those who are less fortunate in developing countries. It doesn't take that much to turn someone's life totally around. Actually seeing that I have made a tremendous difference in someone's life, that's all I could ask for.
Boy, oh boy, all I could ask for. What a wonderful thing to say. Loretta Penny is just an ordinary Canadian like you and me, not especially wealthy, not especially privileged, but one day she did something that changed her life. She picked up the phone during one of these special programs. She pledged $27 to sponsor a little child in Africa. Will you do that too? Please, go to your phone right now. Speaking of phones, let's see who Linda's talking to now. Linda?
Wayne, I'm talking to Mrs. Barbara Anderson from Scarborough, Ontario. And Mrs. Anderson, I understand that something you saw earlier in the show really moved you to sponsor a child today. Would you tell us about it?
Oh, yes, I'd be happy to, Linda. I lost a grandson to meningitis that I saw the little baby that died of, and I really felt for the mom because we suffered the same loss. But God has blessed us with a beautiful granddaughter and grandson, and my son and his wife and myself are very grateful to God for that. And I find that since I've become a Christian 4 years ago, it has changed my whole life. And if there's something that I can do to help one of these children who can't get out of the situation that they're in, I'm very grateful to help them.
Well, Mrs. Anderson, thank you so much. We're going to be sending you a picture of little Carmen, a 4-year-old girl from Mexico. And I just want to say God bless you, and thank you so much for responding today. After all, sponsors are our lifeblood here, and if they stopped coming forward, World Vision Canada wouldn't be able to help so many children.
Would you say hello to Louise José Monzou? Haiti, Brazil, Senegal, and Bangladesh you haven't told us about yet.
A few months ago, I was in Bangladesh, and there I saw the plight of the girls. Baby girls. As soon as you're born a girl in Bangladesh, well, you are a burden for your family because eventually they'll have to pay a dowry when you get married. And because of that, you're at a disadvantage all your life. You are not fed properly. You're the last one to eat at the table. You don't get education. And you're married sometimes before you're 15 years old, 16, you have a baby, your health is no good, your baby's health is no good. So I think when people call, if they want to sponsor a child from Asia, if they want to sponsor a child from Bangladesh, maybe it's important to say, I want to sponsor a girl today to help their situation.
So it's a good idea. Sponsor a girl specifically. That's what it comes down to, is this. You folks have a choice. You either shrug your shoulders at the deaths of 13 million children every year, or we can all get together and reach out to one of those children. That's what you can do. Share a tiny bit of what you have with them. If you do, miracles can happen. Make your call. It'll only take a moment. Sponsor a child and watch a miracle unfold. Wayne?
Thank you, Alan. Right now, we'd like you to meet Don Scott, president of World Vision Canada. Unfortunately, Don can't be with us in person today because he's in Africa. But Catherine had a chance to get together with him before he went.
If I'm watching a television program and I see a story about the needs of these children, I see a crying mother and a dying baby in her arms, my heart wants to make it all better. I can't make it all better. Why would I trust World Vision to do it?
Well, you can trust World Vision because we've been around for 43 years. We have a lot of experience.
And we have relationships with major world bodies like the United Nations, different organizations within the UN that we work with on the ground, other partner organizations that do similar work to what we do. And we've got all of this experience. So, I mean, it's the old story. I mean, are you going to trust the person who doesn't know what they're doing but has a heart to do it, or are you going to trust the person that has a heart to do it and knows what they're doing?
How has World Vision learned to do what they're doing?
Well, in 43 years of experience, you learn a lot. You do make a lot of mistakes. But the one thing I like about this organization, and I've been with it for 23 years now, is that we have always been willing to address our mistakes, analyze those, and learn from them, and then move forward from there. Our task is the empowerment of people, and we have to be committed to that.
How does sponsoring a child relate to empowering people?
That's probably the most important thing we do. You take a small child in a community that has no future, no hope. I mean, basically, if they're left to their own ends, they will just continue the cycle of poverty. And so the empowerment is when we can go in, sit down and talk with these people, allow them to prioritize what their problems are, solutions are, and how they can contribute towards that solution. And that, of course, releases them to achieve what they would like to achieve. That's empowerment.
Hi, I'm John Tesh.
And I'm Connie Salika. We're so glad to be here on behalf of World Vision. Like many of you, both John and I have seen the television reports of children suffering from hunger and disease and wanted to help. But somehow we just never got around to responding. Finally, we said to each other, we have to do something. Like the story of the Good Samaritan, we felt it was time to stop and help someone else.
And that's really why we volunteered to be here, because World Vision has given us a terrific way to reach out to very needy children. We sponsor a little girl in Guatemala, a little boy in Tanzania. It is great to know we're helping give them a whole new future.
And we're impressed with how so little can do so much.
Why not do what we did and stop and help? When you call to sponsor a child, World Vision will rush you a picture and background information about your special child. You can even write letters to each other. A terrific teaching experience for the kids.
Don't miss out on this wonderful experience. Call right now.
All you need to do to answer John and Connie's invitation is to pick up your phone and say you'll sponsor a child with a monthly commitment of $27. Lots of people are doing it. We need more to be calling. But Wayne, how are we doing so far?
I thought you would never ask.